Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Luthfi Anshari. In this occasion, I would like to explain about English phonetic and phonology study materials in short and simple form. There are 3 learning materials. Second meeting materials, the production of speech sounds. There are 3 subtopics: articulator above the larynx, vowel and consonant, English short vowels. The third meeting material, long vowel diphthongs and triphthong. There are 3 subtopics: English long vowels, diphthongs and triphthongs. And last but not least, the 4 meeting materials, voicing and consonants. There are 5 subtopics: the larynx, respiration and voicing, plosive, English plosive, fortis and lenis. Now, let us begin with summary of second meeting study materials. The second meeting, the articulatory system located above the larynx, pertain to the structure or organs that participate in the creation of vocal sounds within the vocal tract. These consist the lips, teeth, alveolar ridge, hard and soft palate, tongue, and nasal cavity. Labial sounds such as p, and v are formed using the lips and teeth. The alveolar ridge, which is the bony protrusion behind the upper teeth, is employed in creating alveolar sounds such as t, d, s, and the hard and soft palate are responsible for generating velar and palatal sounds, with velar sounds including k, and while palatal sound encompass j, z, and ch. The tongue is highly versatile articulator that can produce diverse speech sounds by moving in multiple ways. It is involved in the formation of numerous consonant and vowel sounds. Lastly, the nasal cavity contributes to the creation of nasal sounds such as and Vowels and consonant are 2 categories of sound found in spoken language. Vowels are sounds that result from vibrating the vocal cords and allowing the air to flow unrestrictedly through the mouth. They are distinguished by an open vocal tract and relatively free airflow. In English, vowels comprise a, e, u, and occasionally w and y. In contrast, consonants are sounds created by partially or completely blocking the airflow through the mouth using the tongue, lips, teeth, or other articulators. They are indeed identified by a constriction or closure in the vocal tract. In English, consonants are represented by all letters of the alphabet except for a, e, o, u. It is crucial to differentiate between vowels and consonants since they play a critical role in constructing syllables and words in language. Syllables are sound units made up of one or more vowels with or without accompanying consonants, while words are a combination of syllables that communicate meaning in language. English has 5 short vowel sounds, which are follows: A as in cat, E as in pen, E as in sit, O as in hot, A as in cup. Short vowel sounds differ from long vowels in that they are articulated for a shorter duration with less muscle tension in the mouth and throat. Short vowels are present in many frequently used words in English and are critical for correct pronunciation and comprehension of the language. We move on to the third meeting study materials. Long vowel. There are 5 long vowels in English, represented by the letter A, E, I, O, and U. Long vowels are pronounced for a longer duration than short vowels and often possess a distinct sound quality. Here are some examples of words with each long vowel sounds. Long A, cake, snake, cape. Long A, feet, B, deep. Long I, kite, high, pie. Long O, goat, show, no. Long U, cute, music, tooth. It's worth noting that English spelling can be inconsistent, with the same letter occasionally denoting different sounds, or different letters signifying the same sound. As a result, it's always helpful to refer to a dictionary if you're uncertain about the pronunciation of specific word. Diphthongs. A diphthong in English is a vowel sound that results from the combination of two separate vowel sounds. When pronounced together, these two sounds created a new sound that is different from either of the individual sounds. There are 8 common diphthongs in English, each represented by a specific combination of vowels. Number 1, I as in white and height. 2, A as in face or day. O as in boy or coin. Ow as in house or out. O as in goat and or boat. U as in cute or use. A as in ear or fear. A as in air or fair. It's worth noting that the pronunciation of diphthongs can differ depending on the speaker's regional accent or dialect. Furthermore, the same spelling may be pronounced differently in different words, which can pose a challenge to non-native speakers trying to master English pronunciation. Diphthongs. In English, a diphthong is a group of 3 vowel sounds that are pronounced together as a single sound. These sounds are less common than diphthongs and are usually found at the end of words or syllables. The 2 most commonly recognized diphthongs in English are I as in fire or higher, and owl as in hour or flower. Some experts believe that these sounds are actually a combination of diphthong followed by single vowel rather than a true diphthongs. Nonetheless, they are still pronounced as a single unit and may pose a challenge for non-native English speakers due to variation in regional accent and dialect. We move on to the 4th meeting study materials. The larynx. The larynx, also known as the voice box, is a structure made of cartilage located in the neck. It houses the vocal cords and is responsible for producing sound for speech and other vocalization. When air from the lungs passes through the larynx, it causes the vocal cords to vibrate and create sound. The tension in the cords and the position of surrounding muscle can be altered to modify the vibration and produce different sounds and pitch. Apart from producing sound, the larynx also has a protective function. It helps to prevent food liquids from entering the lungs during swallowing by closing off the airway. Moreover, the larynx has specialized cells that remove harmful particles and pathogens from the respiratory tract. Disorder of the larynx can lead to change in voice, difficulty speaking or swallowing, and breathing problems. Some common laryngeal disorders including laryngitis, vocal cord nodules, and laryngeal cancer. Respiration and voicing. Human speech production involves 2 important physiological processes: respiration and voicing. Respiration refers to the inhalation and exhalation of air, which provides the necessary air flow for speech production. The lungs and diaphragm work together to regulate the rate and volume of airflow, which affects the loudness and duration of speech sounds. Voicing, on the other hand, involves the vibration of the vocal folds in the larynx during speech. This vibration produces sound, and the rate of vibration determines the pitch of the voice. Voicing can also be controlled to produce different types of sounds, such as voiceless or voiced consonants. Together, The coordination of these processes is essential for clear and effective communication through speech. Plosive. Plosive, also known as stops, are a type of consonant sounds where the vocal tract is closed and then quickly released, producing a burst of sound. There are three main types of plosive: voiceless, voiced, and aspirated. Voiceless plosive, like p, t, k, are made without the vibration of the vocal cords, resulting in a sharp burst of air when closer is released. Voiced plosive, such as p, t, k, involves the vibration of the vocal cords, and burst of sound is accompanied by vibration in the cords. Aspirated plosive, like the initial sounds in pie, tie, and kite, are voiceless plosive that are pronounced with a strong burst of air, leading to a slight puff of air after the sound is released. Plosive are present in various languages, and their pronunciation can differ based on factors such as the language itself, the speaker's accent, and the positive of the sound within a word. English plosive. English has 6 plosive sounds: p, p, t, d, k, and g. The voiceless plosive in English are p, t, k, which are created by blocking the airflow through the mouth with lips, tongue, or velum, and suddenly releasing it. The voiced plosive in English are p, t, k, which are produced in the same way as their voiceless counterparts but with added vibration of the vocal cords. At the beginning of stressed syllable, the voiceless plosive are aspirated, releasing a small burst of air after the stop sound, as in words like pie, tie, and kite. However, the pronunciation of English plosive may vary depending on accent and word position. For instance, the t sound in water can be pronounced as a flat or glottal stop in some English accent. Fortis and lenis. The terms fortis and lenis are used in phonetics to describe the level of force or strength with which a consonant is pronounced. Fortis consonants are pronounced with more muscular effort or tension, resulting in a stronger and more forceful sound. In English, the voiceless plosive are usually considered to be fortis consonants, like p, t, and k. Lenis consonants, on the other hand, are pronounced with less muscular effort or tension, resulting in a weaker and less forceful sound. In English, the voiced plosives p, t, and k, b, d, and g are usually considered to be Lenis consonants. It's important to keep in mind that the distinction between fortis and lenis consonants is not always straightforward and can differ depending on the language and context. For instance, in some languages, voiceless plosive may be lenis in specific position, while in other languages, certain voiced consonants may be pronounced with more force than their voiceless equivalent. That's what I can convey and explain this time. Thank you for listening even though my English is still lacking. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.